So yeah, please go check it out. What it is a kind of like ASMR video aggregator, um, and uh, it has different like pages set up for different ASM artists, and all of the videos when they upload them to YouTube automatically go to their channel on Tingles, and um, they're automatically tagged and they're all right there, and you can search things and you can make playlists. And one of the coolest features is you can make a playlist, um, and then like have all the videos, have all of the videos in the playlist like play it once, and it creates some really cool effects. I like it a lot, and they also run, or it's run by one guy as far as I know, Andrew. Um, and yeah, they do contests. He does contests. I don't know how many, but there's one going on right now for a blue snowball. So there's that, which is pretty cool. Um, and he also has a Patreon page which you can go donate to. And yeah, just please spread this around with your friends if you like it. It's a really good site, but it's not gaining much traffic at all, and it sucks. Because honestly, I think like it could take over how people watch and search for ASMR videos. Like it could just be a whole thing that just like if you're just searching for a video, you just go in there. You don't go on YouTube. And you can like search the whole site, the whole database for like one tag. And you can also like submit tags for videos if you feel like it's necessary. And if you're an ASMR artist and your channel isn't on there, you can submit like a thing on there on the site that'll allow you to get the channel on there. And if you already have one, you can link up your YouTube channel with your Tingles channel, and you can also add like your Facebook and Twitter and Patreon links to your Tingles page. Like I said, I think it's the perfect thing for getting ASMR videos all in one place for just like that site that has all of it. Because I know there's like lists of all the ASM artists, um, but this is a little different. Well, not a little, it's a lot of different, and I think it's very well done. So please go visit the site, and yeah, and if you like it, share it with your friends, and whatnot. No, Andrew would really, really appreciate it. I don't know why I'm yawning so much today. Anyway, I'm gonna get right into the video, or not in the video, we're already in the video. I'm gonna get right into the thing, the reading. So here it goes. March 7th, 1992. Dear friend, girls are weird, and I don't mean that offensively. I just can't put it any other way. I have now gone on another date with Mary Elizabeth. In a lot of ways, it was similar to the dance, except she got to wear more comfortable clothes. She was the one who asked me out again, and I suppose that's okay, but I think I'm going to start doing the asking from time to time, because I can't always hope to get asked. Also, if I do the asking, then I'll be sure to go out with the girl of my choice if he says yes. It's just so complicated. The good news is that I got to be the one who drove this time. I asked my father if I could borrow his car. It happened at the dinner table. For what? My dad gets protective of his car. Charlie's got a girlfriend, my sister said. She's not my girlfriend, I said. Who is this girl? My father asked. What's going on? My mother asked from the kitchen. Charlie wants to borrow the car, my dad replied. What parents like her to go, except the big boy, and that was old until this year. She showed me the movie section and told me about all these cult filmmakers and people from France. Then she took me down to the import section and told me about real alternative music. Then she took me to the folk section and told me about girl bands like the Slits. She said she had felt really bad, but she hadn't gotten me anything for Christmas, and she wanted to make it up to me. Then she bought me a record by Billie Holiday and asked if I wanted to go to her house and listen to it. So I was sitting alone in her basement while she was upstairs getting us something to drink. I looked around the room, which was very clean and sounded like people didn't live there. It had a fireplace with a mantel and golf trophies. There was a television and a nice stereo. And then Mary Elizabeth came downstairs with 2 glasses and a bottle of brandy. She said that she hated everything her parents loved, except for brandy. She asked me to pour the drinks while she made a fire. She was very excited, too, which was strange because she's never like that. She kept saying about how much she loves fires and how she wanted to marry a man and live in Vermont someday, which was strange, too, because Mary Elizabeth never talks about things like that. When she finished the fire, she put the record on and kind of danced over to me. She said she felt very warm, but not in the temperature sense. The music started, and she clinked my glass, said cheers, and took a sip of brandy. Brandy is very good, by the way, but it was better at the Secret Santa party. We finished the first glasses very quickly. My heart was beating really fast, and I was starting to get nervous. She handed me another glass of brandy and touched my hand very softly when she did. Then she slipped her leg over mine, and I watched it just dangle there. Then I felt her hand on the back of my neck, just kind of moving slowly, and my heart started beating like crazy. Do you like the record? She asked real quiet. Very much. I really did, too. It was beautiful. Charlie, do you like me? You know what I mean? Are you nervous? Don't be nervous, okay? That's when I felt her other hand. It started at my knee and worked its way up the side of my leg into my hip and stomach. Then she took her leg off mine and kind of sat on my lap facing me. She looked right into my eyes and never blinked. Not once. Her face looked warm and different, and she leaned down and started kissing my neck and ears, then my cheeks, then my lips, and everything kind of melted away. She took my hand and slid it up to her sweater, and I couldn't believe what was happening to me, or what breasts felt like, or later, what they looked like, or how difficult bras are. After we had done everything you can do from the stomach up, I lay down on the floor, and Mary Elizabeth put her head on my chest. We both breathed very slowly and listened to the music and the fire crack. When the last song was over, I felt her breath on my chest. Charlie, do you think I'm pretty? I think you're very pretty. Really? Really? Then she held on to me a little tighter, and for the next half hour, Mary Elizabeth didn't talk at all. All I could do was lie there and think about how much her voice changed when she asked me if she was pretty, and how much she changed when I answered. Now Sam said she didn't like things like that, and how much my arm was beginning to hurt. Thank God we heard the automatic garage door opener when we did. Always, Charlie. I like that part a lot, both in the movie and the book. It's very humorous. Offsets the kind of like more romantic and I don't want to say deep, but more. It brings a lighter tone back to a more serious scene. Anyway, it's pretty funny. In the movie, it's more played comically throughout the whole thing. But yeah. I wrote a paper about Walden for a bill, but this time I did it differently. I didn't write a book report. I wrote a report pretending that I was by myself near a lake for 2 years. I pretended that I lived off the land and had insights. To tell you the truth, I kind of like the idea of doing that right now. Ever since that night with Mary Elizabeth, everything has been different. It started out Monday in school, where Sam and Patrick looked at me with big grins. Mary Elizabeth had told them about the night we spent together, which I really didn't want her to do, but Sam and Patrick kept saying, Sam and Patrick thought it was great, and they were really happy for both of us. Sam kept saying, I can't believe I didn't think of it before. You guys are great together. I think Mary Elizabeth thinks so, too, because she's been acting completely different. She's nice all the time, but it doesn't feel right. I don't know how to describe it. It's like we'll be having a cigarette outside with Sam and Patrick at the end of the day, and we'll all be talking about something until it's time to go home. Then, when I get home, Mary Elizabeth will call me right away and ask me what's up. And I don't know what to say because the only thing new in my life is my walk home, which isn't a lot. But I describe the walk anyway, and then she starts talking, and she doesn't stop for a long time. She's been doing this all week. That and picking lint off my clothes. At one point 2 days ago, she was talking about books, and she included a lot of books I had read. And when I told her that I had read them, she asked me very long questions that were really just her ideas with a question mark put at the end. The only thing I could say was either yes or no. There was honestly no room to say anything else. After that, she started talking about her plans for college, which I had heard before, so I put down the phone, went to the bathroom, and when I came back, she was still talking. She was still talking. I know that was the wrong thing to do, but I thought if I didn't take a break, I would do something even worse, like yell or hang up the phone. She also keeps talking about the Billie Holiday record she bought for me, and she says she wants to expose me to all those great things. And to tell you the truth, I don't really want to be exposed to all those great things if it means that I'll have to hear Mary Elizabeth talk about it all the time, or talk about all the great things she exposed to me all the time. It almost feels like, of the three things involved, Mary Elizabeth, me, and the great things, only the first one matters to Mary Elizabeth. I don't understand that. I would give someone a record so they could love the record, not so they would always know that I gave it to them. Then, there was the dinner. Since the holidays were over, my mom asked if I would like to have Sam and Patrick over for dinner, like she promised after I told her they said she had a great taste in clothing. I was so excited. I told Patrick and Sam, and we made plans for a Sunday night. And about 2 hours later, Mary Elizabeth walked up to me in the hall and said, "What time Sunday?" I didn't know what to do. It was just for Sam and Patrick. That was the whole idea from the beginning. And I never even invited Mary Elizabeth. Sorry about my sister crying. I guess I know why she assumed that she would be invited, but she never even waited to see, or even dropped a hint, or even drop a hint, or anything. So, at the dinner where I wanted my mom and dad to see how nice and great Sam and Patrick were, Mary Elizabeth talked the whole time. It wasn't her fault. My mom and dad asked her more questions than they asked Sam or Patrick. I guess because I am going on dates with Mary Elizabeth, she was very beautiful, but not in an unconventional way. I don't know why I'm saying all this. I just wish Mary Elizabeth won't ask me. I just wish Mary Elizabeth would ask me questions other than "What's up?" Love always, Charlie. April 18th, 1992. Dear friend, I have made a terrible mess of things. Oh shit. I think this is, this is a dark letter. Anyway, sorry. April 18th, 1992. Dear friend, I have made a terrible mess of things. I really have. I feel terrible about it. Patrick said the best thing I could do was just stay away from home for a while. It all started last Monday. Mary Elizabeth came to school with a book of poems by a famous poet named E.E. Cummings. The story behind the book was that she saw a movie that talked about one poem that compares this woman's hands to flowers and rain. She thought it was so beautiful that she went out and bought the book. She has read it a lot of times since, and she said she wanted me to have my own copy. Not the copy she bought, but a new one. All day she told me to show everyone the book. I know I should have been grateful because it was a very nice thing to do, but I wasn't grateful. I wasn't grateful at all. Don't get me wrong, I acted like I was, but I wasn't. To tell you the truth, I was starting to get mad. Maybe if she would have given me a copy of the book that she brought for herself, it would have been different. Or maybe if she had just hand-copied the rain poem she loves on a piece of paper. And definitely if she didn't make me show the book to everyone we knew. Or no. Maybe I should have been honest then, but it didn't feel like the right time. When I left school that day, I didn't go home because I couldn't talk to her on the phone. My mother is not a very adroit liar about things like that. So instead, I walked to the area where all the shops and video stores are. I went straight to the bookstore. And when the lady behind the counter asked me if I needed any help, I opened up my bag and I returned the book Mary Elizabeth bought me. I didn't do anything with the money. It just sat in my pocket. When I walked home, all I could think about was what a terrible thing it was that I just did, and I started crying. By the time I walked in the front door, I was crying so much that my sister stopped watching television to talk to me. When I told her that what I did, she drove me back to the bookstore because I was too messy to drive, and I got the book back, which made me feel a little better. When Mary Elizabeth asked me where I had been all day on the phone that night, I told her I went to the store with my sister, and when she asked if I bought her something nice, I said I did. I didn't even think she was serious, but I said it anyway. I just felt so bad about almost returning her book. I spent the next hour on the phone listening to her talk about the book. Then we said goodnight. Then I went downstairs to ask my sister if she could drive me to the store again so I could get Mary Elizabeth something nice. So my sister told me to drive myself and that I had better start being honest with Mary Elizabeth about how I feel. Maybe I should have then, but it just didn't feel like the right time. The next day, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. Maybe I should have then, but it just didn't feel like the right time. The next day, in school, I gave Mary Elizabeth the gift that I drove to buy her. It was a new copy of To Kill a Mockingbird. The first thing Mary Elizabeth said was, "That's original." I just reminded myself that she didn't say it mean. She wasn't making fun of me. She wasn't comparing or criticizing. And she really wasn't. Believe me. So I just explained to her about how Bill gives me special books to read outside of class, and how To Kill a Mockingbird was the first one, and how it was special to me. Then she said, "Thank you. It's very sweet." But then she went on to explain how she had read advice Bill gave me was to think about the main character in terms of the other main characters in the books I've read thus far. He said not to get caught up thinking the play was too fancy. So, on Good Friday yesterday, we had a special showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. What made it special was the fact that everyone knew it was the beginning of Easter vacation, and a lot of kids were still wearing their suits and dresses from Mass. It reminded me of Ash Wednesday in school when kids come in with thumbprints on their foreheads. It always adds an air of excitement. After the show, Greg invited all of us back to his apartment to drink wine and listen to the White Album. After the record was over, Patrick suggested we all play Truth or Dare, a game that he loves to play when he's buzzed. Guess who chose Dare over Truth all night? Me. I just didn't want to tell Mary Elizabeth the truth because of the game. It was working pretty well most of the night. The dares were things like chug a beer, but then Patrick gave me a dare. I don't even think he knew what he was doing, but he gave it to me anyway. Kiss the prettiest girl in the room on the lips. That's when I chose to be honest. In retrospect, I probably could not have picked a worse time. The silence started after I stood up, since Mary Elizabeth was sitting right next to me. By the time I had knelt down in front of Sam and kissed her, the silence was unbearable. It wasn't a romantic kiss. It was friendly, like the time when I played Rocky and she played Janet. But it didn't matter. I could say that it was the wine or the beer that I had chugged. I could also say that I had forgotten the time Mary Elizabeth asked me if I thought she was pretty. But I would be lying. The truth is that when Patrick dared me, I knew that if I kissed Mary Elizabeth, I would be lying to everyone, including Sam, including Patrick, including Mary Elizabeth, and I just couldn't do it anymore, even if it was part of a game. After the silence, Patrick did his best to salvage the evening. The first thing he said was, "Well, isn't this awkward?" But it didn't work. Mary Elizabeth walked quickly out of the room into the bathroom. Patrick told me later that she didn't want anyone to see her cry. Sam followed her, but before she completely left the room, she turned to me and said serious and dark, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" It was the look on her face when she said it, and how much she meant it. It suddenly made everything seem like it really was. I felt terrible, just terrible. Patrick immediately stood up and took me out of Greg's apartment. We walked to the street, and the only thing I was aware of was the cold. I said that I should go back inside and apologize. Patrick said, "No, I'll get her coats. Just stay here." When Patrick left me outside, I started to cry. It was real and panicky, and I couldn't stop it. When Patrick came back, I said, really crying, "I really think I should go apologize." Patrick shook his head. "Believe me, you don't want to go back in there." Then he jingled the car keys in front of my face and said, "Come on, I'll take you home." In the car, I told Patrick everything that has been going on. About the record, and the book, and To Kill a Mockingbird, and how Mary Elizabeth never asked me any questions. And all Patrick said was, "It's too bad you're not gay." thanks, Patrick. Don't mention it. And then I said, you know, Patrick, if I were gay, I'd want to date you. I don't know why I said it, but it seemed right. Patrick just smiled cocky and said, of course. Then he peeled out down the road. When I lay down in bed that night, I put on the Billie Holiday record, and I started reading the book of E. Cummings' poems. After I read the poem that compares a woman's hand to flowers and rain, I put the book down and went to the window. I stared at my reflection and the trees behind it for a long time, not thinking anything, not feeling anything, not hearing the record, for hours. Something really is wrong with me, and I don't know what it is. Love always, Charlie. Yeah, but it's pretty dark and stuff. Anyway, April 26, 1992. Dear friend, nobody has called me since that night. I don't blame them. I have spent the whole vacation reading Hamlet. Bill was right. It was much easier to think of the kid in the play like the other characters I've read about so far. It didn't give me any answers necessarily, but it was helpful to know that someone else has been through it. Oh, shoot, I accidentally a line. It was much easier to think of the kid in the play like the other characters I've read about so far. It has also helped me while I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me. It didn't give me any answers necessarily, but it was helpful to know that someone else has been through it, especially someone who lived such a long time ago. I did call Mary Elizabeth, and I told her that I'd been listening to the record every night and reading the E. Cummings book. She just said, it's too late, Charlie. I would have explained that I didn't want to start going out on dates again, and that I was doing these things just as a friend, but I knew it would only have made things worse, so I didn't. I just said, I'm sorry, and I really was sorry, and I know she believed me, but that didn't make any difference. There was nothing but a bad silence on the phone. I really knew it was too late. Patrick did call me, but all he said was that Greg got really angry at Sam about me, and I should keep staying away until things got clear. I asked him if he would like to go out, just me and him. He said that he would be busy with Brad and family things, but he tried to call me if he could find the time. So far, he hasn't. I would tell you about Easter Sunday with my family, but I've already told you about Thanksgiving and Christmas, and there really isn't much of a difference. Except that my father got a raise. My mother didn't because she doesn't get paid for housework. And my sister stopped reading those self-esteem books because she met a new boy. My brother did come home, but when I asked him if his girlfriend read my report on Walden, he said no because she broke up with him when she found out he was cheating on her. That happened a while ago. So I asked him if he had read it himself, and he said that he hasn't, or hadn't, because he was too busy. He said he would try and read it over vacation. So far, he hasn't. So I went to visit my Aunt Helen, and for the first time in my life, it didn't help. I even tried to follow my own plan and remember all the little details about the last time I had a great weekend, but that didn't help either. I know that I brought this all on myself. I know that I deserve this. I'd do anything not to be this way. I'd do anything to make it up to everyone, and to not have to see a psychiatrist who explains to me about being passive-aggressive, and to not have to take the medicine he gives me, which is too expensive for my dad, and to not have to talk about bad memories with him, or be nostalgic about bad things. I just wish that God, or my parents, or Sam, or my sister, or someone would just tell me what's wrong with me. Just tell me how to be different in a way that makes sense, to make all this go away and disappear. I know what's wrong because it's my I know that's wrong because it's my responsibility. I know that things get worse before they get better because that's what my psychiatrist says. But this is the worst that feels too big. He said he had a quarter-ounce of pot left, so I took some of my Easter money and bought it. I've been smoking it all the time since. Lawful ways, Starling.